that the last time we spoke was um, in LA at KSI Logan Paul 2. I don't know if you remember
Oh
this.
yes,
So
yeah.
I wondered if you would, because I remember that the guy who interviewed you before us, it was on the plaza, like outside the Staples Center, and he spoke to
Yep.
you for about half an hour in the absolute baking heat. And I was like, he's going to pass out. He's going to pass out before we have any time with him at all. He just kept going, and I was like, this will be the last one. This will be the last one. And anyway, he just kept going.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. But anyway, nice to speak to you just now, and thanks for your time. First of
Absolute
all,
pleasure.
how's the pandemic been? How are you doing? Are you all right?
Yes, I mean the lockdown was sort of a shock to the system, sort of threw everything out the window, massive spanner in the works, and then unfortunately I contracted COVID in early September. Thankfully, I only had symptoms for around 2 days, and my body beat it off. But yeah, take care of yourselves,
Yeah,
everyone.
totally. It's been such a strange time, I guess, and that sort of comes clear, I guess, for you this year as well when it comes to taking on the challenge of a London marathon. I guess if we throw it back first of all, if, for example, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, somebody had said to you, "Run a London marathon," how would you have felt about that?
I would have said there's not a chance can I run that many miles. I wouldn't even thought it was a possibility. Yeah, I think it would have been like a passing conversation. It wouldn't have even been like a conversation that had like sort of wheels to it, if you know what I mean.
Mhm. Why was that? Tell us a little bit about where you were at a few years ago.
A few years ago, I was heavily overweight, really overweight. I'm only 5'8", so being heavy is at that height is quite detrimental. And mentally, not in the best headspace either. Sort of feeling like a letdown to my friends, feeling like a burden. So, 100% not in the greatest of places.
In retrospect and hindsight now, are you able to kind of pin down why that was?
I feel like it comes with the pressures of broadcasting videos to millions of people. Your brain pays attention to the negative comments, and then sort of just if you're not happy within yourself as well, and you receive comments like that, I feel like it just gobbles you up. It just eats you alive.
That's the thing. So when it comes to like your amazing stuff that you do with the Sidemen, do you think that that sort of were you kind of propelled into that? Do you think is there a certain like element of whiplash, I suppose, when that suddenly blows up and then all of a sudden you're there and having to survive it, basically?
Yeah, I feel like what's really crazy, and we don't really look at that much. But if over the course of the last, I think we've been together for 7 years now, me
Hmm.
and the boys. But it's sort of like a trailblazing effect, if you know what I mean. Like we sort of went headfirst into doing the football videos. No one was really doing football videos, and then we sort of did the football matches. We do these things that sort of leave, it's like a path, if you know what I mean. Like not many other people had done it at the same
Mm.
time, and then when it sort of gained so much exposure and blew up, you are just propelled into the keyboard of everyone, I suppose.
Mm.
Everyone's got access to you. Everyone's got access to you this week, this week, this week, this week. And on those weeks, whilst they're being filmed, you might not be feeling the best. So when it does go out, you're like, ah.
Totally, and that's the thing. I think by kind of becoming sort of so public so quickly, and and really being a part of people's lives, everybody suddenly feels a bit of ownership over you almost as well, I guess, and does kind of chip in on you and your life.
Absolutely. I feel like one thing that's different with traditional medias and YouTube is there's a lot more of a stronger connection. People feel like your friend rather than sort of like a viewer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I think I can see that with like with your fans, your viewers, as you say, like they just connect straight away and they're just like
Mm.
they're part of your life. And I suppose it's kind of it's interesting. So I've seen the first episode of your brilliant documentary series, and it's so interesting because I think that as part of that, even in that episode, it feels like we're going to yet another level, like a deeper level with you in this documentary series.
Yeah, I feel like this documentary is really great. It's because it's sort of showing an individual YouTuber and a complete different side to it. Even though there's the end goal of the marathon in there, it's sort of showing the under scratch surface level of an actual individual YouTuber. And I
Mhm.
feel like that's something that we haven't really seen before.
And why is that, do you think?
I just think documentaries on YouTube they're becoming a bigger thing now. The GRM one, I'm into sort of that sort of culture, and that one was amazing to watch as well. But I feel like learning more about people's stories and learning more about how people use the platform, how they grew up with the platform, is really something to take interest in.
Was that a deliberate sort of conscious decision from you, do you think, to perhaps use this as a way to kind of take it to that deeper level, I suppose, that perhaps we've not seen before as well?
Definitely. And I feel like it's sort of showing this different side to YouTube. It can inspire people to maybe get started, or even just in general things, in fitness, things like that. It's the effort to leave a really good message and a positive message in there.
How do you feel about that in and of itself, in that you have that power, you have that ability to inspire people and to share your story like this?
I always say that my whole thing it's not to blow my ego or blow up a head or anything like that. My whole thing is leaving a positive message, and if I can inspire one person, if I can help one person, then I feel like I've done some sort of good job. And that's merely it. Is if someone tweets me today and they say, Ethan, 3 months ago I went out for a 30-minute walk and now I go to the gym all the time. That's amazing to hear. Amazing. Keep going. I love it.
And as part of this whole thing, you've been getting heaps of those, have you not?
Oh yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. When the trailer came out, the amount of Instagram messages, the tweets I got, it was unreal to see.
How do you feel in and of yourself now, I suppose, at this point? I know, like, from my friend who's a personal trainer, he always kind of says with these sorts of things, it's difficult because you perhaps start out with like a destination in mind, and actually there's often not a destination. It's kind of an ongoing, continuous thing.
It's completely correct. Absolutely. It's like, the way I'll try and put it, it's like, say you've got a dream car your whole life and you put it here, right? You get your dream car. Life doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
That passion for something doesn't stop there. So for me, it was, I really want to lose weight. And once you get there, you think, okay, well, now what can I do with this? I want to build muscle. Oh, okay, amazing. Crack on. Do these goals, small goals, bang, doing this. And then when a challenge like a marathon comes up, these things just sort of, you end up challenging yourself because you want to see how far you can go. How much better am I today? And that's what's really enjoyable.
Do those challenges always come easily, or has it been a bit of an up and down through the whole process?
Yeah, absolutely. This is, everyone may sort of look back on a lot of people on the internet call it blow up and things. They might think that it's just like you go from this spot to this spot over 2 years and, oh, incredible.
Yeah.
But it's cliche. Along the way, it's horrendous. There's some workouts I had to have my asthma pump on the side. I'm leaving wanting to throw up. Yeah, it's always challenging, and there's days that you just really don't want to do anything. You don't want to get out of the bed. You don't want to crack on. But it's all about realizing that there's a bus stop, and I'm getting to this bus stop, and then I'm going to the next one.
Yeah, but that in itself, I think, is that is testament to a remarkable change, to be able to cling on to that level of motivation. Where does that come from, do you think?
People tweet me or Instagram DM me and they say, how did you keep the motivation, or how did you find it? And I always said, if you're searching for it, you're not gonna find it, right? You've got to start doing small things because it fuels you up. It's like petrol. It honestly is like petrol. So you go out, you beat your 5K time. Pow, next week, oh, I'm doing this now. I'm doing something better. I'm carrying on. I want to fuel up the engine. And once the cogs are turning, you can you accomplish more things.
When you say it like that, I perhaps, looking in from the outside, I kind of see similar characteristics coming to play here with you becoming an endurance athlete to perhaps what might explain how successful you are on YouTube as well. Do you think there are kind of similar motivations? There are similar kind of psychological things going on there?
Yeah, I've always been sort of, even in college, I studied like web design, graphic design, things like that. I've always been like a perfectionist where I really want things to be awesome. I want things to be great. And I feel like I've always got that. I won't put something down until I feel like I've done it justice, if you know what I mean. And I feel like that's what I try and do with everything I apply myself to.
Yeah, totally. And so on that note then, with YouTube, as again, it feels like, what is the destination for you guys? Do you just keep going? Is it one of those things that you just keep running at?
I think so. Just head first and see where it's going. It's always good to sort of having the Sidemen around me is obviously absolutely unreal. I'm so blessed to have met six people, six like-minded people that all have different pros, all bring something new to the table. And it's so nice because you bounce ideas off each other. You're able to go and film with each other. You're able to create new concepts, new ideas. So yeah, I think it's head first, see where YouTube takes us, see what we can do.
Just on the marathon as well, obviously this year has been like chaotic for so many different reasons because of the pandemic. Just talk us through, I suppose, how it's all played out. So you know, you start the year, you get the call, you get asked to take part in the marathon, you're well up for it, you get training, and then what happens?
Oh, coronavirus, just honestly, what a spanner in the works. Like I said, the cogs are going at this point. The cogs are going. We're really firing up now. We're meant to be running in April. Bang, pandemic. Scattered everything all over the place. We've got dates moving. We don't even know if it's going to happen. I'm going to run my own marathon. I'm going to do it solo. I'm going to do this. And then lockdown during that. And in September, I contracted COVID as well. It's just such an Ethan thing. It's so Ethan. This is the way I explain things. I explain things to people. I say, it's so Ethan. It's so Ethan, the fact that I got COVID 2 weeks before I was meant to run a marathon. It's such a me thing to happen. But yeah, pandemic sort of flung a spanner in the works, but we powered on.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's one of those things where like a marathon is a fierce enough thing to take on anyway. Then you throw in a global pandemic and the whole thing just becomes absolute chaos, doesn't it?
Honestly, yeah. It is like your work papers are all over the desk. That's the best way to say it. It's like,
what can we expect through the 3-part documentary then? Tell us a little bit about what's in there.
You can expect some incredible guests. That's one thing. The guests we have Eddie Hall, we have Dame Kelly Holmes, a couple of my YouTube friends, a couple of my football friends. It's really, really, really unreal to have those guests involved in such a series. And also you just get to see, there's like so many different sides. You get to see sort of my past and sort of like the under scratch surface level of the individual. But then you also see sort of inspiring moments, like mental things. You get to see some fun challenges, strength challenges, and then you also get the big finale.
The big finale. Go on.
Yes, the big finale.
What have we got in the big finale? What can you tell us?
The big finale. They took me to Suffolk to run my first marathon.
Yeah.
Through puddles, through mud, through sand, through beaches, and we cracked through it.
That sounds 100 times worse than like the streets of London. Where on earth did that?
Oh yeah. This is it. The big finale. The big finale.
Oh my word. Already, by the way, just on the note of challenges, I saw in episode 1 you pulling a fire truck down a runway. And to be fair, ending up flat on your face for actually a lot of that challenge. What I don't even understand. How do you even begin to get your head around pulling a fire truck?
That's what I couldn't. I said, I'm not doing it, am I? Look at me. I'm not doing it. Look at Eddie. I said, Eddie, mate. Yeah, I get it. You'll pull it. And
He's the world's strongest man as well, isn't he?
I know. He broke it all down for me. He gave me the technique. We got it ever so slightly moving, and then my elbows took a pounding. I'm flat on my chest, but I think it comes with repetition, doesn't it? It comes with, do you know what? I didn't come to Blackpool to not pull a fire truck. Yeah. So yeah, it was good having him on board to help with that.
I was also thinking, just in the context of like this, the documentary, what you've done, and the pandemic. And to be fair, I, as a slightly, a bit of a recovering fat person myself, it's kind of interesting that you do this now, because I think so much of the conversation now is around the after effects of lockdown, if you like. People have been sitting around for months, perhaps lacking motivation, working from home, going out for one walk. Remember that? We were allowed to go out for one bit of exercise a day a few months ago. And I just wonder if you were to use this opportunity to speak to people, to tell people, and to try to motivate people, what would you say? How would you go about that?
How would I say? I would say use this time if you're off work or anything like that during pandemics is really horrible. Make time to better yourself, whether it's a skill, whether it's work, anything from home, but also in the fitness aspect. Honestly, wake up 30 minutes earlier than you usually would. It's not much of an ask really in the grand scheme of things. Get out there, go for a run. Let the endorphins fly in. Set your day off with a win. So cliche, but honestly, it feels so good. That's what it is. I go to the gym with my friends first thing when I wake up, and even just going to the gym with people around you, your day's incredible. Your lunch is better. Everything's more enjoyable. So yeah, just make just a conscious effort. Use your time that during this crazy time.
Yeah.
Use the bits you can to better yourself.
I quite regularly say that the worst thing about kind of living a healthy lifestyle and exercising and all of that, which I go through phases of doing this myself, but the worst thing about it is that everything people say about it is true. And that
absolutely. Absolutely. And when I try and do interviews or I try and explain things, I always think, do you know what? It sounds so cliche. Like I've probably heard that or seen it somewhere before, but honestly, it is true. When you really dive into it, it is start your days off with wins and you'll crack on.
Totally. I always think about in these sorts of interviews as well, Ethan, is what comes next. So, you're conquering YouTube, you conquer a marathon, which is arguably one of the most difficult things a human being can do. What is next? What does the to-do list look like for somebody like you?
The to-do list to carry on entertaining, to carry on making content that other people enjoy. I started this as a passion. But then alongside that, my personal goals and achievements, I'd love to just leave a positive impact in the fitness world, sort of show people that even people that aren't into fitness already, if I can just help them keep going, and then new people, help them get started on their journey, help them become a better person. If I can do that, then that's a good positive message I want to spread.
It's a great message, absolutely. I guess like getting down to the nitty gritty as well now, it's 2020, we've been in lockdown, a lot of computer gaming going on. Is it Warzone or Among Us for you?
Oh, I went through a big Warzone phase, a huge Warzone phase. But Among Us is crazy right now. And we play that with our WhatsApp group chat. Oh my God, it's so funny.
It's
so
chaos.
For the minute,
I've watched a bit of that. It's absolute chaos.
So for the minute, I'm going to say Among Us.
Man, Warzone is one of those things where I've been trying again for months to get good at, and I'm still absolute crap. But anyway.
It's difficult. Everyone's so good now.
I know, that's the problem. You've got people like Vic out there, and he gives away all the secrets, and then everybody else seems to be better at picking up the secrets from him. And I'm like, why can I not do it like this? This is ridiculous.
He's unreal at the game.
Nice one, man. Have a great rest of 2020. Whatever happens.
Thank you very much.
On another marathon.
You too. I don't know about that. These legs are still recovering.